In our last episode, we showed you the first half of our 5-day journey as we left Ensenada, Mexico, headed to La Cruz de Huanacaxtle non-stop. That episode included engine alarms and mostly lovely seas. In today's episode, you'll meet some of our winged hitchhikers and see how we expertly fixed our water leak. Welcome aboard. We are Alexa, Pat, and Gilligan the Fat Boat Cat. Follow us as we live aboard and cruise the U.S. and Mexico on our 57-foot Nordhavn Noeta with no ETA.
Hey.
Hey, we have just started our 4th day, I think. We've had 3 sleeps, so 4th day.
3 sleeps. We can see the end of the Baja, Cabo.
Yeah, so we're coming up on Cabo. We don't know if we'll see like the arches when we go through, but we'll see here shortly. Super calm, quiet night last night. Light winds, very little wind and
nice following
wave.
sea.
Yeah, so it was
very pleasant.
Yeah. We did
Fingers
end up
crossed it continues.
we had a water leak, I think we mentioned yesterday, and we're losing water, and we're a little anxious because we hadn't used a water maker before. So Pat tries to get the water maker going and finds out he can't get the top on or sealed, and it's leaking.
There's a filter that wasn't seating correctly. So.
And we're losing water out of our water tank, and so we're like, all right, we have spare water jugs and water bottles just in case for this kind of thing, but we still haven't found this leak, and it's quite significant. There's lots of water leaving, and
well, in 3 days we lost
40 gallons or so,
quarter of a tank or so.
Yeah. So anyway, he gets the water maker going and ends up having to take out the filter. It wasn't fitting right, so we'll play with that more when we're on land. But at least now we can make water, so that's good. And then it's beautiful.
It was a
sunny.
calculated gamble going without the filter.
Yeah, but we're doing water tests, and so far our numbers are still looking good. And then the weather got nice, and so we went up to the fly bridge to kind of cruise from up there, and we're just standing up there, and I realized there's a faucet that's used for a washdown hose up there, and it's dripping a lot. And it hasn't been used since Sea of Cortez, but the boat's been moving and getting jostled. But so for quite some time, I think it's been dripping water. So we closed that off, and since then,
and no leak.
We're not leaking anything. So it turns out it wasn't a leak; it was more
operator error.
Operator error, which happens sometimes. So anyway, so that's good. Water situation.
Start with a simple when you're diagnosing.
Yeah, we haven't had a repeat of that boost sensor pressure thing.
Yeah.
So I think we're good there.
Sorry, I keep looking. There's like a bazillion flying fish flying away from the boat.
There's so many flying fish, and there was just a sailfish bouncing about. And then, of course, yesterday, just before sunset,
we saw nets.
Well, no, but cooler than nets.
Oh.
They weren't very cool. Pat's down in the engine room, and I see these dolphins start to come at us, and I'm like, oh, great, 3 or 4 dolphins, because we get that. But then there's like 100 of them coming from everywhere around the boat, and I'm shouting for Pat, and he comes up, and so I'm going to pause right here in the video, and I'm going to insert video here. I'll be right back. Oh my God, there's so many. There's like 50. There's so many. Oh God. Okay, wasn't that amazing?
Wow.
There were so many, and we have like a GoPro 360 camera, so we can kind of get some cool footage of the boat while doing that. But I was just out there giggling like a little school kid. It was great. So anyway, weather is lovely.
Fingers crossed, we turn, and then on to La Cruz.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Sea of Cortez isn't being ornery, and we can have one more nice passage.
Yeah. So we'll sleep one more night, well, in 3-hour shifts anyway, as much as you can consider that sleeping. And then tomorrow night, it could be kind of late, but we're still on track to get to La Cruz.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. Okay. We also have a couple of stowaways out here. Go down here. See if I can get them on video. So the engine room blows hot air right here. And so, excuse how dirty it is, because, you know, things have been collecting. But look at these guys. Aren't they cute? They look like they might be juvenile. They've got webbed feet, so definitely a water bird. But I see some juvenile fluff in there. So they've been with us for a couple of hours, but it's really warm right here. So they're just hitching a ride, I think. They're no dummies. Hey, hi. Hey, that is Cabo San Lucas. Yeah?
Yeah.
And
See the arches over there.
over here are the arches, so we're going to go around those. So we made it to here, so that's a good start, and then we'll head across the Sea of Cortez, but we're going to get a close-up look at those babies. just had the very last sunrise of this trip, hopefully. Well, I hope so.
Oh,
sunrise,
let's not get cocky yet.
Well, we should be pulling in midnight-ish to La Cruz, so if we have another sunrise, we're in trouble.
Between 10 and midnight.
Okay, I'll take that.
That's what we're going for.
That's what we're going for. Okay, good. Last 24 hours, we rounded Cabo, which was cool. And then right after Cabo, we had really crappy sea states, but only for about an hour.
About an hour, we kind of went with the weather, so it was all on our stern.
Yeah.
And then we knew the forecast said that it was going to die down between 4 and 6.
Yeah, and it did.
And it did.
Yeah.
And as soon as it did, we went on our way.
Yeah. So we've been crossing the Sea of Cortez, which is Gulf of California. about 280 miles from Point of Cabo to La Cruz. So we are almost to the halfway point right now.
Coming up on the first of the Marietas, the big one, the big island with it had an old prison on it.
You mean the Tres Marias?
Tres Marias.
Yeah.
Not the Marietas.
There, Marietas,
that was
we'd
a
be
test.
there. Yeah, thank you for testing.
Yes.
So the Tres Marias on one of the
the biggest island, the first one we're coming up on, had a prison on it for years, and then they closed it the year we got here. When we crossed from Mazatlan, from La Paz, right?
Yeah.
No?
Wait. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it closed right before we crossed. And interesting, they didn't have a lot of prisoners, but at the time, the prisoners that were there were upset because they didn't want to leave the island, because basically they had a
vacation.
They had a resort.
Yeah, it was a nice place to be stuck if you had to be stuck somewhere. But we cannot anchor at these islands. There's no private anchoring there, at least not legally. And there's still a Coast Guard presence there, or Navy presence there. So we'll pass by the Tres Marias, and we have to stay 15 nautical miles offshore. Some friends of ours were hailed once going past saying, if you don't get offshore, we're going to come board your boat. So we don't want that. So we're going to stay 15 nautical miles off the islands. We did have an alarm again last night. It looks like you've narrowed it down.
I think there's a fuel pressure sensor that is sending an error code.
Yeah.
We can see the fuel pressure, everything's good. So we have a list of things to change and fix, and that's.
But I did have to wake up Pat with like 20 minutes left of his 3-hour sleep, so I felt bad about that. But that's the kind of thing that you wake somebody up for.
Absolutely.
It's been pretty empty out here, except for the 2 stinking sailboats that were right on my path, and they didn't have AIS, and so I didn't know what they were going to do, so I had to divert course both times.
Last second, did one of them tack into you or something?
No, he tacked it. Oh, yeah, no, one of them was tacking towards me. So
sailboaters.
We like sailboaters too, but yeah, they're definitely different teams. And then we picked up, sometime yesterday, we picked up 2 little blackbirds.
I think it was before that.
Yeah, once we found out they're ashy storm petrels, and they migrate and live in and around the Coronado Islands. But they are in, California and northern Mexico.
Up by Tijuana.
Yeah. Anyway, we had them stow away, and I thought they were injured. They were kind of sitting in the heat of our...
one of our engine room exhaust fans.
Yeah, and so I got worried after about 12 hours of that, and I made a little box and some stuffing and a water dish, because that's what I do. I made them a little home, and they let me pick them up and move them, and so then I was really worried that they weren't well, and put them on the back deck where it wasn't so hot, and kept Gilligan away from the box. And this morning, they're both gone, and they don't appear to be elsewhere on the boat. I think they were just taking a nap and didn't want to fly and migrate themselves.
Yeah.
And then later this morning, just before the alarm that went off, we picked up a pair of boobies that hung out with us for an hour or so. They appeared to be brown-footed. We do have blue and brown-footed down here, but I said boobies. Makes sense.
2 of them.
Anyway, other than that, lots of dolphins last night. Our spreader lights were out, kind of showing out to the side, and you'd see these little flying fish dart across, and then you'd see the dolphins chase after them and just zigging and zagging through lights. It was super cool. So that was a lot of fun.
Stay tuned. That'll be on a video.
I'll probably overlay it right here. So here we can keep talking and give time to see the dolphins right now.
So how was that video? Was that pretty amazing?
Well, okay, because it's so dark, it's the quality is not great, but it's kind of neat to watch. Anyway, so I think, maybe pop one last update in right before we get to shore, but we're nearing the end of this one.
Yeah, fingers crossed, everything keeps working.
All right, later.
Bye.
See if anyone's awake. La Cruz Marina Seguridad, La Cruz Marina Seguridad, Noeta en 16.
Adelante para Marina. Adelante.
Hola, aquí hay Noeta. Vamos a 09.
Ok, al sur 9.
Cambio.
Buenas noches. La Cruz Marina, ¿sí?
Afirmativo, aquí es Marina La Cruz, dígame, ¿en qué le puedo ayudar?
Muy buenas noches. Estamos llegando y tenemos una reserva para muelle 11B12 y estamos llegando ahorita. Solo quiero avisar.
Muy bien, entonces ahorita se va a acercar una persona de seguridad para guiarlo, ahí por el muelle 11. Es el muelle 11B12.
Exactamente, perfecto. Gracias.
Ok, ahí nos ve.
Noeta 16.
Un momento, el muelle, ¿cuál es, perdón? ¿Otra vez, me repite?
Es muelle 11B12.
Ok, ahorita va la seguridad a guiarlos.
Muy bien, gracias. Buenas noches.
Sí, buenas noches.
We don't know.
So, kill the lights.
Yeah. I'm gonna go throw out my fenders. Just leave that on for now.
I think I might need you up there. Well, up there so we can see the slip. Oh, okay. Okay, I can see the. Yeah. If you stand, maybe to your left a little bit. No, I need you to move to your left just a little bit. Yeah, perfect. That worked. Just shine on that pilot.
We did it.
Yeah. 4.5, 4 days, 17 hours,
5 days.
5 days.
Yeah, we got here pretty much when we said we would. 11:45 or so.
Whew.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, we've been in and out of here hundreds of times. It's way different at night.
Biggest challenge.
And all the fishing nets.
Salud.
Salud.
That's the first drink in 5 days.
Wow.
Woo.
Ooh.
We're here.
God, there's a herd of cats over there.
He's so funny, isn't he? He just can't help himself. We
are
are
here.
here is La Cruz de Huanacaxtle. It's where we actually spent most of the last 6 years in and around this area. And we're back. Came in the middle of the night. How'd that go?
We came into Banderas Bay, I don't know, at 11 p.m. or something. Pulled into the marina at midnight.
A little after.
We've been in here, like Lex said, for 6-7 years, so we were pretty familiar with it, but it was still different, quite a bit. The channel had moved a little bit because of shoaling, because of hurricane season, and
It was a new slip.
And
we were tired. Anyway, it worked out. There was a guard I called for one of the guards, and he was on the dock with a flashlight.
It was not an event. It was just totally different. And
Yeah.
we went really slow because we're just okay. I think
And then
it's fatigue.
somehow we managed to crash and fall asleep that night. But every night since then, and we're like 4 nights later now.
We wake up. I've done it, I don't know,
Every night.
2, 3, 4 times a night. I wake up and I think we're underway, and I look over and Alexa's in bed, and I'm like, what is wrong? We shouldn't be here. And I have been up to the pilot house, and I'm telling myself we're in La Cruz, we're tied up, and I'm still looking out the window going, where are we?
Right. So 5 days of motion has messed with us, clearly. Yesterday, I apparently...
here. Kitty.
In case we needed our Gilligan cameo of the day, he decided he'd like to be right here. We'll go somewhere else. Not right. He's eating a plant. right now. They're just stop. Just don't eat the plant. I woke up and I know I was doing this. I pick up the phone and I get on predict wind and I'm looking for our location on the map.
A little dot.
In the middle of the night. We're tied up in a marina and it's something I'd done, so many dozens of times.
Cheers, James.
Cheers. That here I am at 2 a.m. trying to figure out my location and the weather or something. I don't know. So that was me. The very first night, Pat woke up and he's like, "It's shutting down," and I'm like, "It's okay, we're at a dock." And then
the engine's not running.
Engine's
It's shutting
not
down.
running,
It's shutting down.
and he's terrified and his heart is racing and I try to explain we're not, and somehow he's really stressed out.
I went back to sleep.
He did. He was fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been great. It turned out we showed up and it was like they had parties to welcome us.
Lots of people showed up. They wanted to see the boat, which is cool.
Great.
But they had a mezcal festival,
Which was great
Which is
because that's
awesome.
his favorite.
so
Yeah.
we went up and did that.
Yeah.
We've done street tacos.
And then there was this
yesterday.
motocross skydiving event at the beach yesterday.
Kind of a Red Bull sponsored thing. They have a Sunday market, which is really cool. All sorts of artisan vendors are here.
Yeah, so we got here and it was like event after event after event. And
So then they have skydivers out of a helicopter. They're trying to spot land in the bay. And then, okay, that's done. Let's go over here
to the beach.
to the beach. And motorcycles are doing flips. And I mean, it's just
It was
like,
crazy events. It was like, welcome to Mexico. We have all these events scheduled for you. So
Yeah, I think maybe next we have to go get our car. It's in Long Beach. So we're going to drive it back. So insert videos or I don't know.
no, it'll be a
Oh,
whole
it'll be
video
a whole-
all in itself.
okay.
That's a road trip of proportions. So
There's a lot more going on. Hope you guys stay tuned. A lot of projects.
So many more projects.
So many
We
more
have to go get our
projects.
car. There's a lot more happening. And so stand by.